Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 10 out of Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. For this video, I'm taking y'all back to the county. I told y'all I was going to tell y'all some stories about the county. We're going to jump right into it. The 3 G's of prison is gays, gambling, and gangs. Those are the 3 things that you want to stay away from because they're the 3 things that are going to be the most problematic, dramatic. The most violence you're going to find in prison usually falls back on those 3 things. But you're going to learn that inside of the county jail. The county is not as extreme as prison. You don't really see a lot of lifers. You find people that are facing life. I was facing life at 18. In here, it's not as intense. It's not as hands-on. It's not as violent. But you are going to learn the ropes of county, especially in preparation for going to prison. Now, the first dorm that I was in, and pretty much every dorm I was in, there were blood houses. Everybody in there was a blood, or we had a lot of numbers in there. And there were only a couple of other gangs. Usually it's going to be Latin Kings, MPI. I've met like 1 GD and 1 BD inside the county. I never saw a Crip in the county. That's just how it is inside of Hillsborough County. It's pretty much 5 or 7. Getting into the dorm, you're going to find out who is who pretty quick. And one of the few groups of people that will stand out to you the most, besides somebody with, a face full of tattoos, is going to be the homosexuals. It's going to be the gays. And in county, jail, prison, they have different terms: punk, sissy, booger, boy, whatever you want to call them. It all falls under the same category. It's pretty much understood without any explanation. You are not to associate with these people, especially if you fall under a gang, an organization, any hood, anything like that. It's only going to be like maybe some neutrons that have gay tendencies that's going to socialize with the openly flamboyant people inside of prison, the punks and the sissies or the county. It doesn't matter. No one that's considered solid is going to interact with them. There's no booty bandits inside of the county. They're not there like that. You might have one that got sent back from prison, but they're not common, and neither are homosexuals. They pretty much get hated on in every single dorm that they're in. They're not welcome. Everyone's discriminating. Nobody is being friendly with them. If you got gang members in the showers and one of them try to come in and take a shower, they're going to be told to leave and wait until the gangs are done. If you're on the toilet and one of them come in, you're going to tell them to leave, especially if nobody is with you, because you don't want to be the guy in the bathroom with a punk. It's not a good look, regardless of how many stalls separate y'all. He's brushing his teeth, you're brushing yours. You don't want to be in there with one of them. Damn sure not the shower, because all it takes is one rumor to start and things can get very deadly very fast. That is what happened in this story. One of my brothers was sitting on his bunk. He used to get magazines all the time. He had just got some new magazines from mail. We look over, we're at the card table. We're playing cards, me and one of the older homies. He was like maybe 32. I was one of the youngest in there. There was another 18-year-old, a 19-year-old. I think he turned 19 while we were in county together. But there's a few of us. We're playing spades. We're not really paying attention. One of us taps the other. He's like, hey, look at that. We look over and we see our brother sitting on his bunk with the fucking punk. And we're looking like, what the fuck is he doing? You know what I mean? And they're not even paying attention. They're just talking. We're like, what the fuck is this? So the older homie that was at the table, he yells over to him and tells him to come here. When he comes over, he said, hey, all y'all were going on the rec yard. All of us at one time went outside onto the rec yard. And pretty much everybody that was outside on the rec yard at that time, they peeped the scene. They saw what was happening. Nothing good is going to come out of a whole gang moving on to the yard at one time. So everyone that wasn't affiliated on the yard, more or less respectfully, walked off and went back inside of the dorm just because they don't want to have anything to do with what's about to happen. If someone starts getting fucked up, they don't want to be caught in the mix, possibly go to confinement, possibly get gassed or charged as a participation in whatever they think is going to happen. So they just got out of there. And it was just us, just the Bloods on the yard at this point. The conversation was quick. The conversation was direct. The oldest homie told the homie that was sitting on the bunk with the punk, You need to go handle that or you're getting X'd out. That's it. There was no further discussion. There was no, let me hear your side of the story. There was none of that. You know what I'm saying? When he first came out, he was acting oblivious, like what happened. And one of the other homies was like, man, what the fuck you doing? Oh, nah, he was trying to buy a magazine. He was basically saying that the Punk sat in his bunk because he wanted to buy a magazine from him. He just got new magazines in. Magazines are like movies when you're in the county. You know what I'm saying? Especially being able to look through and just see all the type of shit that's going on the street. But the older homie, he didn't want to hear shit. He didn't say anything other than go handle that or you're getting X'd out. Once he made that clear, every one of us, the realization set in. The littlest fuck up will get you X'd out. It doesn't matter how close y'all are. It doesn't matter if you knew each other from the street. None of that. The simplest fuck up will make everybody turn on you. If you snitch, you're done. You get caught with a boy, you're done. If you're violating rules, you're done. And that's just how it is, set to set, nation to nation, gang to gang. I mean, even just groups, just friends, just neutrons will cut each other off for reasons like this. And he needed to go and handle that, and that's exactly what he did. After he was told, you're either handling it or you get X'd out, immediately, he opens the door, he goes back inside. The Punk was sitting with another Punk at a table. He walked up, he pops off. First quarter, just gets to lighting this kid up. Boom, boom, boom. Picks him up, slams him off the floor, gets on top, and just starts hitting him in his face. He's beating the dog shit out of him. He pops off on the other Punk too, the one that was sitting there, the other Punk's homeboy or whatever. There was only two in the dorm. He hits him too, tries to hit him with a chair. The deputy calls for backup. They come in, they pull tasers. Everybody gets down on the ground. It is what it is, and all three of them go to confinement. But he had to do that, and we liked how he did it. Because he didn't ask questions. He didn't try to debate it. He said, hey, you need to go handle that. He went and handled that. But let me tell you the difference between county and prison. In county, that was acceptable. In prison, he would have had to stab him. He would have had to really show a hatred for that person. And would have had to wet him up with a knife, $150, whatever. He would have had to show excessive force. In the county, weapons are limited. You don't really have any weapons in our county jail. You just don't have them. If they give you the haircut and clippers, you can wrap the cord around your hand and fire somebody up with the clippers, but they're going to break after you do it. They're going to get a little cut on their head. It isn't that big of a deal. Versus inside of prison, we have access to all types of weapons. And like I said, these rumors are very deadly because one accusation can cause you to have to lash out in violence, even if it isn't true. If somebody says you were with a boy, you're expected to do damn near everything humanly possible to hurt that person. And if you don't have the right type of energy about it, if you just try to play it off like, bro, come on, bro, you know me, that's not true, bro. If you're not on top of that, like, who said what? I'm gonna get... If you're not on top of it like that, people will assume the rumor against you is true. It's the same as snitching. If somebody says, hey, they got paperwork on you, hey, you told, hey, he just came in here and he said you told. If you don't immediately go and slide on him and handle that, people are going to assume it's true without the facts because they're going to go off of the energy that you have. They're going to go off of the work that you're about to put in because any man inside a prison is not going to let those accusations come against them because in prison, it is deadly as fuck. In county jail, it's a little bit more lenient. There's less weapons. People will fight. You got snitches that can fight. You got punks that can fight. And that goes for prison too. So situations can turn crazy, go one way and end up another. But that's why you do not want to affiliate with the 3 Gs. Gangs, gambling, gays. They're never going to work out for you. Gambling's going to bring nothing but problems. He doesn't want to pay his debt. You ran yourself into debt. The gangs are always going to have different politics. Some gangs accept gambling. Some gangs accept homosexual activity. Nothing good is going to come from it. If you don't want to deal with these realities, I suggest you don't get in any fucking trouble because you're going to have to deal with these things. And if you're a neutron, the politics of the dorm do not revolve around you and how you carry yourself as a man. They revolve around the gangs, those that have numbers, and those that consider themselves in control. So even though you may be a respectful person and you stay in your own lane, there's always a reason you might get caught up in something. You might not know better. You might be taking a shower and a punk comes in the shower. Neither one of you have any contact. You're both showering. But it just so happens that your bunk lays next to a gang member's bunk. That gang member hears you were in the shower with a punk. He now assumes you get down like that, and he's going to force you to move. Hey, bro, you got to get out of here, bro. You can't live by me. Same thing with cells. When you get put inside somebody's cell, if it's a gang member, they're not allowed to have punks in the cell with them because that can cause a rumor to pop off. And you cannot have a rumor like that on your name. You have to remove them. You have to get them out. Whether they check out or whether you got to put them out, something has to happen. Even if you got to grab them and force them out of the fucking flap, you got to get them out of the cell. You represent us. We represent you. He sat on that bunk and everybody saw it. So you need to punish him in front of everybody that saw that to let them know. Otherwise, we're going to do it to you. We're going to flip you. We're going to make sure you're never banging again. It's going to get dead ass serious. And I mean, you've had people that were X'd out where they're held down and then X is cut onto their back, shoulder to hip, shoulder to hip. It gets dead serious. X's on people's faces, people getting their tattoos cut off, tattoos tatted over. It gets very extreme. You don't want to deal with this type of bullshit. Don't get locked up. Don't go to jail. Don't go to prison. These things are forced upon you. The way you carry yourself, it doesn't matter. You do not control this environment. You will move accordingly to the environment that you're put into. You will become accustomed to the rules and politics of this environment. And if you can't make it, you will crumble inside of this place. People will force you to hate certain things, certain people, certain actions. And the more time you spend in this environment, the harder it is to break the mentality and come back into society and be accepting of different people that live different lifestyles. As you spend time and figure out how fast and how deadly these rules are if you break them. But hey, it's 1090J. I got some more county stories coming for y'all. Got some new content coming for y'all. Y'all stay tuned. I'm rocking with y'all. Y'all rocking with me. Till next time.